Maltese, the Mount St. Helens toothpaste dispenser. I realize that the public may be reluctant to accept black toothpaste. However, I'd like to plant a kiss on those beautiful lips.
That doesn't make sense. That does.
Rick, how'd you get him to ride the train?
Oh, I just promised him a lollipop.
Did you two have a good time fishing?
Oh, yeah, it was great. Wasn't it, Grandfather?
Sheer ecstasy.
Well, at least you're the only one who caught something. Ta-da!
It was an epic struggle.
Boy, that sky sure looks mean.
Hi, Dex. This is a business car? You just dropping by to say hello?
Please, I would never drop by. Dropping by is for brush salesmen. Your father called and said it was imperative we meet to discuss your finances.
He did, huh? And what's so imperative about my finances?
Edward, you are always moaning and mewling about the fact that we don't have father and son chats. I thought this would be a perfect occasion to correct that.
That's nice. I'd love to have a warm, emotional father, son, and accountant chat.
Well, that's an improvement over the normal father-son referee chats.
Let's go into the library. Richard, you may come too, only please put down that fish.
Dexter, would you like to come fishing with me sometime?
I'm afraid that's impossible. I'm allergic to recreation.
Edward, if you'll go on in, I'll be with you in just a moment. I have a little business to do. Miss Summers, I've been meaning to tell you for some time how impressed I am with your work.
Oh, well, that's very nice. But have you ever seen my work?
I see the results. When you came here, Edward, this house and his business were a total shambles. Now, thanks to you, only Edward remains a total shambles.
Oh, I wouldn't say that Edward is a shambles. In fact, I think that...
I have a number of companies which form part of what is quite justifiably called my empire. I spend a lot of time trying to find competent people to conduct this business of mine. And in you, I see executive timber.
Me? Timber?
Because I'm thinking particularly of a company, McIntyre and McIntyre, devoted to the manufacture of insulation for electric wiring, red, yellow, and green.
Blue?
No, we have discontinued blue, but that reveals the inquisitive spirit that is needed for this position. I've decided that we will start with the title of Vice President.
I can't believe this. I mean, I didn't even think you knew I was alive. I mean, I was even afraid to speak to you, and all this time you were thinking I was doing such a great job.
Miss Summers, I think these sentiments belong in a personal diary.
You're right. You're right. Is McIntyre and McIntyre in New York? New York?
No, in San Jose.
California?
Yes, I'm glad you know the way to San Jose.
This is so sudden. I'd have to move away from Edward. I don't think I could do that. Oh, but it's a wonderful opportunity. Could I think about it?
Of course. I advise you to ponder it deeply. I shall be here for another 20 minutes.
Dex, this is my toy company's biggest seller. We call it Tommy Therapist. Here, Rick, you want to demonstrate it?
Sure. You know, Tommy, you've really helped me. I feel good about myself. I don't feel depressed anymore. I've never been happier in my whole life.
Uh-huh. Sounds like you could use a lobotomy.
That's very clever. May I try it?
Sure.
Tommy, last night I had an urge to glue chicken feathers all over my body and then leap off the top of the Empire State Building. Do you think I need help?
Affirmative. Edward, I have asked Mr. Stuffins to review your recent financial position. I think we should all listen to his conclusions.
Well, I've examined your statements for the past 3 years, Mrs. Stratton, and I've noticed that your property and cash assets have remained at approximately the same level.
That's great, Dad.
It's a disgrace.
Why? What's wrong with it? He didn't lose any.
With inflation, if you stay the same, you lose.
Beautifully put, sir.
Thank you. Now, I do have a solution to the problem. John Williamson is a business associate of mine with an empire somewhat like my own. A few $1 million less, I think. But he has a daughter of marriageable age. Now, I thought if we could merge these two family empires...
What are you talking about?
He's trying to fix you up, Dad. Is this lady good looking? Is she a fox?
I have no idea if she is a fox. I do know she has a pair of the biggest coal mines in the country. We would, of course, go through the customary premarital mating rituals before we book the church.
I can recommend a very reasonable caterer.
Hold the caterer, Dexter. I'm about to be very angry, Rick. Maybe you should leave.
Sit down, Richard. I want Richard to hear this. It affects his future.
Maybe I should leave now.
Sit down, Dexter. I want you to hear this. Rick, would you excuse us, please?
Sit down, Richard.
I really shouldn't be in the middle of all this.
Sit down, Dexter.
Look, why don't we both leave?
That's an excellent idea.
Sit down! Dexter, I am personally offended at the medieval arrangement that my father is proposing here. You see, I use my money to make me and others happy. I have no interest in becoming the richest man in the world.
It's not your fault, sir. Well, I really must fly. I'm having dinner at Elizabeth Taylor's. If I don't get there soon, all the food will be gone.
Father, I have the best relationship with Kate I've ever had with a woman, and nothing you can say or do is going to mess that up. Come in.
Excuse me. Edward, I have to talk to you.
Hello? Yeah, I'll get it. Grandfather, there's a Roger Dunsmore on the line for you.
Yes, Dunsmore, what is it?
Edward, your father has offered me a job as vice president of one of his companies in California.
California? Since you live in New York, that's going to be a heck of a commute.
A job in California.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. The plot sickens.
Dunsmore, listen to me. I want that merger completed the minute I hang up this duck.
Father, Kate tells me you've just offered her a job.
I think it is time I left here.
Sit down, Father. Well, all right, stand then. But this time, Father, you have really gone too far.
Edward, why are you so upset?
Kate, my father wants me to marry somebody rich so that we can expand the family fortune. That's the reason he offered you that job in California, to get you away from me.
Is that true, Mr. Stratton?
I would not have offered you the job if I had not thought you were qualified.
Then offering me the job had nothing to do with my relationship with Edward.
You may regard it as a happy coincidence.
I really fell for it, didn't I? Me, executive timber. Well, that's a laugh. Well, I suppose offering me a job is far more civilized than riding me out of town on a rail.
Miss Summers.
No, hey, listen. You want me out of the picture? Fine, I'm gone. Goodbye, Ricky.
Kate.
Goodbye, Edward.
Well, thank you, Father. You've just driven off the woman I love. Kate! Kate, are you all right?
I'm fine.
All right, just whatever you do, don't try to move.
I'm okay.
Dad, what's going on here?
Oh, Rick, the storm has knocked out the electricity. Just stand still, son, and don't try to move.
I'm okay. I just hit something. I don't know what it was, though.
It was me.
Son, you stay in here with your grandfather. I want to talk to Kate alone. Kate?
Edward, don't try to move.
I'm sorry, Phil. At least you're dressed for this. Kate, honey, don't just run away. We have to talk about this.
Edward, how could your father do this to me? I was the one that was always defending him to you.
Kate, look, what happened is not your problem. It's his problem.
Your father doesn't think that I'm good enough for you. Well, maybe he's right.
It doesn't matter what he thinks. What matters is what we think. Kate, I love you.
Well, I love you too. But maybe it's better for all concerned if I just bow out.
It's not better for me, and I'm the one concerned here.
Since I'm leaving...
Kate, please.
Your shoes will be ready on Thursday. Those cordovan loafers with the funny-looking tassels.
Kate, I gotta tell you, I think you're being... I didn't know you thought my tassels were funny-looking. I'll never wear them again. I'm leaving it lit! Kate, please, don't leave.
I'm just going where your father thinks I belong, on the other side of the tracks.
Father!
Yes.
Don't do that.
Dad, can I come in? Or is there gonna be more yelling and junk?
Son, I think you should go upstairs, put on your PJs, and hit the sack, huh?
But Dad, it's only 7 o'clock.
And you're still up?
Gotcha.
Edward, I sense that you're about to have one of your patented tantrums.
No. Not this time. Father, the first woman I've really cared about in 13 years just walked out that door. Now, I intend to do everything in my power to get her back, but none of this should ever have happened. It's the same old story, isn't it? You interfere in my life with absolutely no concern over my feelings. Now, you and I have just come to the end of the line. Father, you are no longer welcome in this house.
May I say good night to my grandson?
You have 5 minutes.
Richard, I'm afraid I find myself in your father's doghouse. He has instructed me not to darken his door ever again.
Yeah, well, some things really drive my dad up the wall. Like if he uses aftershave, leave the screen door open, drive off the woman he loves.
I see your sympathies are with him.
You bet your bow tie. It doesn't seem fair you expected my dad to marry someone just 'cause she's rich.
Richard.
I know. You're gonna tell me what you always tell me. The world isn't fair.
I was going to say that the more you own of the world, the fairer it gets. When you grow older, you'll understand that.
Now that burns my butt. Everyone's always telling me, when you're older, you understand. By the time I get old enough to understand, I won't care anymore.
Richard, if your father had taken my advice, he would have profited greatly financially.
We have enough money, Grandfather.
He has poisoned you.
I just want to make my dad happy. And Kate makes him happy. He loves her.
Love. This is a delusion foisted upon society by impoverished poets. Where did you get that?
My dad gave it to me. I wanted to have a picture of my grandma, Abigail.
Grandmother Abigail.
I wanted to look at this picture. Figured that you and grandmother loved each other. But I guess that was just another one of your business deals.
I must admit that at the start it was a transaction. Her parents owned Northwestern Ocean Lines, and it seemed to fit perfectly into the Stratton portfolio.
Let me ask you this. Did she love you?
She professed so.
Did you love her?
Yes.
Grandfather, you miss her, don't you?
Very much.
Then why can't you understand that if my dad couldn't see Kate anymore, I'd miss her too?
Well, what's done is done. Your father doesn't want to have anything more to do with me.
Yeah, but if you apologize to him...
Apologize? If you knew me, you'd know I never apologize.
I love you, Grandfather. But I've got to tell you, I think you're wrong on this one.
Time's up! Goodbye, Father.
Edward, there is something I wish to say to you.
Yes.
I think perhaps I may have been overzealous in my concern for your welfare.
Yes?
And perhaps I was wrong to give opinions, admirable though they were,
Are you trying to say you're sorry?
I think perhaps unconsciously I may not have realized adequately the full consequences.
Father, why don't you just say, I'm sorry?
I can't. I'm sorry.
Wait, please wait. Dad, that's pretty close to an apology. I mean, it's in the ballpark.
Son, it's a case of too little, too late. Kate is already gone.
Now, since I do have a nugget of responsibility for her going, I will talk to her, and she will come back to you.
All right. I'll admit that my first instinct was to run away. But I've got something to say to you, Mr. Stratton. I may not have the right background or enough money to satisfy your requirements, but I'm a very wonderful person. You may think because you're successful in business that you have the right to tell everyone what to do. Well, you don't. There are other things more important in life than money. Like having someone who really cares about you and who's there when you really need them. Edward is far more capable than you give him credit for. Why, he's bright and sensitive and really concerned about people. And he's certainly old enough to decide what woman he wants. And I'm proud of the fact that he's chosen me. And I'm not going to let you or anyone else ruin what we have together. I love this man.
You see, Edward? I told you I'd take care of this.
Proud of you.
That was great, Kate.
Nice
Oh,
going.
honey, you're all cold and wet. Let's go and get you some warm soup, huh?
How about a hot bath?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta blow out this candle.